Valentine's Day is coming up. Talking about money may not be at the top of your list for date night, but talking about finances with your partner, it could make your relationship stronger. Joining us now is our financial expert, Mark Triplett from Triplett-Westendorf Financial Group. You got 4 money questions to ask your Valentine, okay? So this is something a lot of people are probably not thinking about right now, but let's start with first, what is financial compatibility and why is it important for couples?
Well, it's extremely important for couples to be on the same page. Actually, fighting over money happens to be one of the leading causes of couples going through a divorce. And unfortunately, the financial stress related to rising cost of goods and services and strains on financial budgets are really putting the heat on some folks. And I think it's important to talk openly and honestly with your partner about your finances and make sure you're both on the same page so you can maybe avoid that.
And we had just mentioned there's studies that finances are a leading cause of divorce, and then financial stress, we have inflation, we have so many things going on. So how do you be proactive about your finances and talk openly about it without feeling intimidated or even secretive for that matter, as that can happen with money?
I think there are a couple of good ways to start. Number one is just understanding that folks have different perspectives on finances, often deeply rooted in either experiences they had growing up or just their upbringing as a whole, what their family did when they were younger. I think it's also important to make sure that you're both on the same page when it comes to spending. Some folks might be, or they have vastly different opinions when it comes to spending. One might be a kind of a spendthrift, the other might be a saver, and it's important to come together and really create a spending plan that you can both agree to and stick to. And I always would encourage to carve out a little discretionary spending for each, so you don't feel like you have to sneak around behind somebody else's back to spend money that you don't want to tell your partner about. That's a really big no-no, I would say. That can cause a lot of financial strife.
Totally. And then what can also be a little bit taboo and maybe intimidating to approach, asking what each other's credit score is, and then asking how much you make, how much you have in savings. And debt, those are touchy subjects.
Yeah, your first question that you're going to ask on a date probably is not going to be what is your credit score, but it is important to understand what somebody's relationship is with debt. Are they okay with debt? Do they have a lot of debt? Are they trying to pay those existing loans down? Are they fiscally responsible? Particularly when it comes to credit scores, I mean, as you're coming together as a union, if you're going to be applying for a mortgage or trying to finance a vehicle, having a really good credit score can make that more advantageous and get better financing. But if you or your significant other have kind of terrible credit, that can really become a financial problem later on. It's better to talk about that up front.
Oh, for sure. I mean, even if it be student loans, you can't buy a house if you've got major student loan debt. And you got to know what you want as a couple. Do you want a house or do you want to travel more? Do you want to invest in cars or, all the things that are really important to know when you pair up and decide to do life together, especially if you want to have kids. Very interesting conversation here, and something that's not talked about enough. Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Just, this is a good buffer to start those conversations. I feel like it's one of the most important ones with compatibility because it's how we move through life, really, is what comes down to our finances.
It really is, and it's really important to be on the same page together. And frankly, a financial advisor sometimes can act as a little bit of a buffer there to provide support and guidance for couples going through that. Mm-hmm. So it's good to consult with somebody that can help you kind of lay that vision and then take the steps to get there.
A healthy conversation to have. Thank you so much for being with us today. Happy Valentine's to you and your family.
Happy Valentine's to you too.